What's up, everybody? I'm your boy, Young Decent. Welcome to the Young Decent Podcast. Today's episode is called Oh Snap, Did That Really Happen? And yes, it did. Alright, so look, it's going to be a real light show, meaning we're just going to talk stories about my life that maybe you've never known, maybe I've never told anybody about. So it's going to be very quick. It's going to be fun, engaging, entertaining, and inspiring. So let's get into the first. Before we start, I always like to start out with something fun. And we're going to talk about sports. It's been a very interesting time in the NBA. We're going to talk about Boston. We're going to talk about Miami. We're going to talk about this upcoming finals. We're going to talk a little bit about LeBron James. So let's get into it. So I want to talk about Boston and Miami. I really want to talk about Game 6. That was one of the most entertaining roller coaster games I've ever seen in my life. I thought I needed a little bit of Pepto-Bismol after that game because I had to turn my TV off. Miami was losing. That's who I'm going for, who I was going for in the series. And then they come back, and then they go back down. Then they could, I just couldn't take it. So I turned my TV on, and then the excitement got to me. And I got to turn my TV back on. So they should have won that game, but it came down to a last-minute miracle shot that went in by Boston. Kudos to them for that. But Miami ultimately went on to win Game 7. And I'm actually going to pick them to win against the Nuggets. The Nuggets. I mean they're a good team, but come on, the Nuggets. They probably gonna win too, but come on. So real quickly, I want to talk about LeBron James. I want to talk about the Lakers. I thought they came back this year and did a great job, and they did fall to the Nuggets. But here's where I'm at. I believe that teams cannot be built overnight. And that's where LeBron James missed it. Teams are not built overnight. They structure the team during the middle of a season. And you can't really do that. You need at least a year, 2 years before that team really meshes and becomes a team. So they showed that they do have a good team core. But they just need more time. That's all that was. I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm not a Lakers hater. They need more time. But go Warriors. And the Warriors are all over the place, up, down. But I'm still going to rock with them, Go Warriors, all right? So now let's switch topics and let's talk about the Wonder Years. Okay, so at first I thought it was over. I thought the Wonder Years was gone. I was ready to cry a little bit, guys, because I really missed the Wonder Years. But dang it, I got some news the other day. I got some news the other way. But man, I got some news the other day saying that they're bringing the Wonder Years back. Let's go. Listen, it's a great show. That's my show, my thing. And don't hate. Get your own show. Wonder Years is my show, okay? So we're going to do it just like that. So like I said, today's show is called Oh Snap, Did That Really Happen? Yes, it did. So I was at Lexington and 63rd the other day. For those who don't know, I live in NYC, Brooklyn born. But I live in NYC, and I was at Lexington and 63rd Street with the F train. So brace yourself. I got a very, very, very incredible story. So I'm sitting there on the train, and I'm sitting on the opposite side of where my train was going to come. You got the Q train and you got the F train. So I start to hear this commotion, and they say, hurry up, get up. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are y'all wilding in the train? Something happened. A lady fell on the train tracks. She fell on the train tracks, and I'm there, and I immediately went into shock. I mean, I was standing there like, is this, oh snap, is this really happening right now? Yes, it was. And I don't remember the last time I've been in shock like that. It was almost like you just can't move. You're in this state of like, just, is this really happening? I mean, it was really, really crazy. So I'm basically just sitting there in shock. And then, it just seems like the train started coming, y'all. The train started coming. So I go into like more shock. So I turn around and I basically brace for impact. I'm like, they're telling her, get up, get up, get up, get up. And I'm like, oh snap, I can't, how am I going to ingest this tragedy that's about to happen? So I turn around, I go like this. So I'm like, this lady is about to get hit. I have nowhere to go to escape from this, whatever's about to happen. But this lady had angels with her. She had angels with her because guess what? They were yelling, hurry up, get up, get up, get up. Here's the F train, here's the Q. Since they were so panicked, I just thought it was coming on the left side, on the right side. So basically what happened, it came on the Q side. So she still had time to get up. And at that point, my shock or whatever wore off, and I tried to go over to help her, but they already got her up. And I was so relieved, and but I got traumatized for like the whole day. I could only like think about that. I was like, I gotta tell somebody. So this happened like maybe 3 weeks ago, a month. So I've been holding on to this story for so long, and it's crazy. But she didn't get on the train. She just stood there, and I got on the train, and I could see her just standing there looking in a daze. So I get off and I say, do you need me to call an ambulance? Are you okay? And she says, I'm okay. So I got on the train, but I was like, this lady had angels. Obviously, it was over. And oh snap, did that really happen? Yes, it did. So here's another quick story that no one really knows about. When I was living in Florida, going for school, I had a class and a girl passed out in my class. And I was like, everyone was panicked. I looked calm, but I wasn't calm on the inside. I was a little bit in turmoil, but I knew to pray for her. So I prayed for her, and it was like nobody was helping her. She's just laying on the floor, just sitting there. And I'm like, yo, is somebody gonna like help her? They called the ambulance and they took forever to come. This young lady passes out in the class, and why isn't anyone really helping her? I guess no one knew what to do. We're waiting for the ambulance. So I noticed that she wasn't breathing right. It was like she was struggling to get air. It wasn't that she couldn't breathe, it just she wasn't breathing right. And I knew that because of experiences that I've had in my life, and I learned how to breathe correctly. So I go over to her and I try to encourage her, and I am a little nervous, very nervous, and I'm talking to her and I'm saying, you're gonna be okay, ambulance is coming, or whatever I said. And I noticed she wasn't breathing right, and I said, listen, I need you to do me a favor. Breathe through your nose and out through your mouth. Just take that deep breath. And it was like whatever was constricted, it just opened up. And she went, and she could breathe again. So I believe I was in the right place at the right time, I was led to go to Florida for school. I left when I was 30 years old. And now I'm there, and I'm helping someone who's passed out in the class, still conscious but on the floor and just struggling and needing medical assistance. When I first moved to Florida, I was living in Sanford, Florida. I would take 3 city buses from Sanford to Orlando. I didn't have a car. So I went to a garage sale and they had a bike for sale, and I picked up this bike. And one day I was riding this bike and I encountered a flock of vultures. Now listen, I'm from New York City. I've only really seen pigeons, okay? So I encountered these big diesel steak get off my block birds. I mean, they were straight set tripping that day. You know, they was like, this right here, this hour, you know, go back to New York City, bro. So I'm like, yo, these dudes gonna let me pass, man. So I'm on my bike. Let's set up the scene. I'm on my bike and I'm terrified, okay? Vultures, ladies and gentlemen, a flock of these dudes. I'm on my bike and I'm like, all right, the only thing stopping me from getting to where I need to go are these vultures. And on that street, it's no other street to go around, okay? You had that one street. So I'm like, yo, I gotta get through. All right. So I get on the bike. I just close my eyes and I pedal and I let out my war cry like crazy. I said, ah, get out the way. I was scared, y'all. I was petrified. Never encountered something like that. I was like, son, I didn't know what to do, but I did it. I had angels with me that day too. Let's get into another story that you don't know about. So I said, the cats are outside. So I was going outside to play with the cats, you know. I was far away from home and we had these stray cats and they became like our animals and everyone in the house would feed them. So I was like, all right, let me go out there and say hello to the cats. So as I go outside, all I see is the back of this animal, and I'm thinking it's one of the cats. So I'm like, hey, little kitty, or whatever I said, like, whatever little calling thing we do. It turns around. I mean, remember, this is the nighttime. This wasn't the daytime. This was the nighttime. So I looked through the peek hole, thought I saw the cat. I go out there. It's nighttime because we leave the food out there, and the thing turns around. And it's a possum eating the cat food. It's a possum eating the cat food. Now listen, remember, I'm from the city, from New York. I've never seen a possum face to face. And it was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. Scared the living black off of me, okay? I ran in the house, okay? Yes, I did. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, that ain't no cat. I ran in the house. I was a punk that day. Let's see how you would have handled it if it would have happened to you, okay? Face to face with one of the ugliest. Okay? Don't judge me, all right? So that happened. And on another night, same thing happened. I came outside, and now, you know, I live, I guess, like in the middle of the block or whatever. I looked, or towards the end, but I looked to my right, and I saw something peeking at me. So I'm like, oh, that's the. I'm like, yo, that's the cat. So I look to my right, and I'm like, something don't really look right over there. It wasn't a cat, ladies and gentlemen. It was nowhere near a cat, ladies and gentlemen. It was a raccoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I ran in the house. So keep in mind, I'm from New York City. We don't see raccoons and possums and stuff like that. Okay, it just doesn't happen. So I ran in the house. Okay, don't judge me. Oh snap, did that really happen? Yes, it did. And what can I say? You know, I mean, I'm not afraid of them no more. I realize that possums are really not really to be, you know, be nothing to be afraid of, or really dangerous. Like, I didn't know that till I researched it a little bit. And I even see raccoons, you know, I don't know. I think they both might be a little shady. So just keep your distance. Don't go up petting no raccoons or possums. Just keep your distance. Give them their space. You might get bit. I don't know. But I got one more. Maybe I should save this story. I got one more story. So one night, now remember, I didn't have a car. I was riding something called the e-bike. I had an e-bike. And it was I had a late class, so it was about 12 or 1 in the morning. And it was about 1 in the morning. I'm coming home. Now remember, no cars really on the road. Street lights are like kind of off, like it's dark, it's dim, very creepy. I'm coming home and I can't ride my e-bike in the street. It doesn't go fast enough to keep up with traffic. So I'm riding on the sidewalk. So I'm like maybe about 400 feet from my house, and something comes out of a distance. So I'm riding this e-bike and something comes out of a distance. And as I look, because remember, e-bike can go about 30 miles per hour. I'm pedal to the metal. This thing sort of jumps out at me like Blanca from Street Fighter, and my senses said, okay, it's not a cat, it's not a possum, it's not a raccoon, it's not a dog. What in the world is it? So I'm like, it gotta be a baby bear. It had to be a baby bear. It was a bear coming at me at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm convinced, ladies and gentlemen, you can't tell me nothing different. I was attacked by a bear. Okay? It could have been some sort of boar, you know, like one of those pigs things. It wasn't a dog. It ran. It was just as scared as I was. It was like, you know what I'm saying? So this what happens. The creature, whatever, the baby bear, whatever it was, it takes off. I see it running. I'm trying to run away just as fast. He trying to run away just as fast. My wheel comes off. My back wheel kind of comes off a little bit, because as I'm riding, let's paint the picture, folks. Let's set up the scene. As I'm riding this thing, and I'm like, oh shoot, this is me on the scooter riding into you have the sidewalk and then you have grass right here. So I'm out of control. I end up going onto the grass and my wheel comes off, okay, in the back. I gotta pick up the back of the bike and pick it up. And now I'm like this because it's not riding right. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't even know what the point is. Oh snap, did that really happen? Oh snap, did that really happen? Yes, it did. Oh snap, did that really happen? Yes, it did. Okay, so these are some stories of my life that you might not even know about. Your boy like to leave y'all with a little inspiration. I know I have my fun stories and stuff, but simplified, and the way it applies to my life is that I have a lot of projects I'm working on, or even if it's something else, but I relate it to the projects. And sometimes it can feel overwhelming when you're a one-man person doing multiple tasks, right? So let's say I'm recording a song. There was a time where I would probably do like 50 takes, you know, like you just gotta get this one little part right. Let's do it again. One take and let's go. Simplify, okay? Because it causes stress. It causes things to not be fun, right? But when you simplify it, it kind of takes the pressure off. There are moments where you need excellence, but may I make the argument may I make the argument that you have studied your craft so detailed that there's room that even when you mess up, it still comes across as excellent to most people. Or, a good job, well done. So simplify is my word, man. What if we use that word in many areas of our lives? What results will we get? Done is better than perfection. Getting things done, putting it out, and learning as you go. I believe that's what he's talking about, because perfection is a hindrance. Perfection can be like a disease. It can be very crippling. It can cause you to back up and not do what you're supposed to do. So it takes wisdom. It takes knowing when to let things go and when to just be easy. Be kind to yourself. Show yourself grace. You have to learn how to give grace, and you have to learn how to receive grace. That's something that sounds like very light, but it's actually a very heavy, weighty thing, right? Learn how to give grace and receive it. Now, I can't get all in. We're done today. We are done. I'm done for today. Maybe I'll pick up with that for another time, but you gotta learn how to give grace. You gotta know how to receive grace. Receive grace for yourself. And that's a lifetime process, Amen. So that's it for this show. Oh snap, did that really happen? Yes, it did. The last thing I would say is that for those who don't know, I am a singer, songwriter, producer. I make my own music. I'm independent. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and I just put out a new song called Hey World, and it just gives a voice to those who sometimes feel like they don't have a voice. It empowers people just to say, if you ever feel invisible, just speak up and say, hey world, I'm here. And the music video is available, it's out now to be watched on YouTube, and the song is on all the streaming platforms, and I would love for everyone to go and check it out, and I believe you're going to enjoy it. I put a lot of work into it, and I got a lot more songs coming, a lot more singles, and then ultimately I guess a full-length album, and a lot of content coming. So hey, thank you everybody for tuning in and showing me love. I love you right back. I wish you nothing but peace. Oh snap, did that really happen? Yes, it did. I'm your boy. I'm out.